Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So remember 2 years ago we had a video from CNN saying that ex-UFO program chief, we may not be alone. And recently, just 2 days ago, August 1st, 2020, we just got another video from the major media, CNN, ex-defense official on new details of UFO encountered, soon to public. So this is a video with my reaction to this YouTube video from CNN. So let's just get right to it.
It's probably time to stop calling people who believe in UFOs crackpots after the recent revelation that there's actually a Pentagon task force looking into them. One astrophysicist who has worked for the Pentagon's UFO program since 2007 told the New York Times that he gave a classified briefing to...
So one astrophysicist who worked with the Pentagon from 2007 now is coming forward with some of his findings. So we can see that a lot of the top scientists also work with military, in the military complex as well, right?
To a Defense Department agency about retrievals from, quote, off-world vehicles not made on this Earth. Are we on the brink of full disclosure about visitors from outer space? Joining me now is Christopher Mellon. He served as Deputy Assistant Secretary of Defense for Intelligence during the Bill Clinton and George W. Bush administrations. He also co-hosts Unidentified, Inside America's UFO Investigation on the History Channel. So, Chris, I sense that there has been a sea change recently in the way in which these reports are being carried and covered. What accounts for it? What has gone on recently?
Yeah, thank you very much. You're absolutely right. And a good example of the sea change is the fact that none other than Scientific American itself has published an article saying the subject ought to be taken seriously and investigated by the scientific community. I think this change is largely primarily a result of the fact that the Defense Department and the Navy themselves have stood up and publicly acknowledged that this phenomenon is real, that this is happening, that our Navy pilots are encountering these vehicles. And so that imparts a credibility that simply did not exist prior to that time.
So this is very interesting now that the government it seems like they have a changing tone of saying that we should give more credibilities to, these UFOs and these phenomenon that's happening in the sky. So I wonder what changes their attitude and their tone towards these type of events that's happening around the world. So I wonder why now they're coming forward and saying that we need to give more credit to this, we need to take this even more seriously. And they mentioned even in this video that these technology might be from off-world. Well, not might be, it's off-world. That's what they said.
Do you believe that there are objects in our possession, broadly defined our possession, that are from something other than this Earth?
What I will say about that is that I think that assertion should be taken seriously. I'm aware I know Eric very well. I understand his arguments. I was present at his briefings on the Hill, and he tried to provide some leads for them to follow to enable them potentially to confirm this. It is an issue that should be taken seriously. In fact, curiously, President Trump himself on Father's Day indicated on air while being filmed that he did have classified information about Roswell, New Mexico, which is, as most people know, is the legendary site of an alleged crash of a UFO. And when asked by his son about declassifying it, he said, "I'll have to think about it."
With the Roswell crash, it happens 50 years ago, right? Now they're talking about it and we're taking things seriously. And acknowledging the fact that these are from off-world. So I really wonder why people are coming forward and the government is coming forward and trying to make these official claims now. So is there something about the narrative they're trying to control, about the disclosure, slowly feeding these informations to us, the public, and making us feel comfortable of accepting these type of informations? Whereas other people who have come forward before, the government's always ridiculed people, like, and calling them like they're crazy and stuff, and also like doing a lot of other things, trying to discrediting these folks. So I wonder why now, like, the government is coming forward through a mass media like CNN and start telling people that we might have technologies, or these technologies are off-world, etc.
I don't know what there is about Roswell that could be classified or interesting other than that one particular issue. So there is a lot of new press and new information coming forward. And again, as I said, I think this is a topic that the oversight committees should take seriously and investigate.
It's the only thing missing from this election. Who knows what the next 90 days brings? This is a global issue. This is not Right. This is not a United States issue. Are there other countries that have taken a lead in the exploration of this subject?
Absolutely. In fact, we're behind several other countries. France, for many years, has had an official process involving their national security forces and police forces. Every year, they examine a number of cases and bring in outside scientists. A lot of that information is public. My colleague Lou Elizondo has made trips both to Italy and South America, and we present a lot of this information on our show, as well as a lot of information from current and former U.S. military personnel and their experiences. But you're absolutely right. This is not unique to the United States. And further, our military personnel have similar experiences when they're deployed abroad in the Middle East and Afghanistan and elsewhere. So by all accounts, it is definitely a worldwide phenomenon.
A final question. Can technology alone account for what you and I are discussing? It occurs to me that by day, I make my living by speaking on Sirius XM, and my voice is bouncing across the United States on a satellite. I assume right now this conversation is doing likewise. There's a lot of stuff up in the atmosphere that didn't used to be there. Can that be an explanation, or is that too simplistic?
I do believe it's too simplistic. And the reason I say that is because in some of these cases, we have information from multiple radar systems, infrared systems, multiple naval personnel on the ground and in the air. And we're tracking these objects, performing maneuvers that clearly indicate they're under intelligent control. They're responding to our aircraft. They're out maneuvering them. And they're doing things that are far beyond any capability we possess. So that's certainly a hypothesis to consider. We have to keep an open mind going forward, but I don't think we're going to find at the end of the day that that kind of explanation can explain cases like that.
So that's the end of the video. So this is very interesting. They also mentioned technology. Of course, by discovering these type of like UFO encounters, like these the governments are definitely be very interested in these type of technologies. So maybe this is one of the reasons that these informations are now making news on these media platforms, like, and now spreading all over the public for us to see, right? So this is very interesting. But I also want to mention that we should give credits to the people who are actually speaking out way before this, like all the astronauts, like Edgar Mitchell, Brian O'Leary, Gordon Cooper. These are some of the astronauts who also talked about these alien encounters or UFO encounters as well. There's also many other people like Dr. Stephen Greer, of course, Bob Lazar, who actually who's working these like secret projects before, and people have ridiculed him throughout this whole process. There's also other people like Robert Dean, who's also another famous person who have been very outspoken in these UFO encounters and alien encounters, etc. Other people like Jordan Maxwell, who are more into the occult, and recently, like Michio Kaku also mentioned that we might be making contact with alien by the end of the century. But now with these type of news coming out, it seems like we might be making contact even more sooner. So yeah, definitely give credit where the credits are due to people who actually been talking about this for like the last 70 to 80 years even. Like these people are the people who we really need to credit to. They have really pushed these type of disclosure forward for us to be able to have these type of information and to open our eyes to the worlds beyond its planet. Yeah, there's also other sources you can check out. For example, Project Avalon, which is also called Alpha Zebra on YouTube. You can check out Project Camelot. You can check out Age of Truth TV, Dark Journalists, Veritas TV. Joe Rogan also has some great interviews as well with a lot of those famous UFO scientists, experiencers, researchers, etc. There's also another channel, like a Chinese channel called Xiao Han. There's also some other famous contactee and experiencers, psychic, like Gigi Young, Alex Collier, Italia Oliver, and many others who are also talking about their experiences and their communications with aliens and their encounters, etc. So yeah, like definitely keep an open mind, because now it seems like the media, the government, the military, Pentagon, they really want to get disclosure out, and I wonder why. Probably because all of this is definitely real, and that we cannot just experience our world only from a physical perspective. We also have to open our eyes and think about other things in the non-physical realm, and also in the world beyond our own. And in the future, we're probably gonna make contact with aliens, or we're gonna go into that realm, into the beyond, and communicate with them and to join them as well in this vast universe. So yeah, keep an open mind and enjoy your life on planet Earth as well. This is Stephanie signing off.